Hello there, and welcome to Deep Space Sleep Channel. I'm glad you're here tonight. Maybe you came searching for calm, or maybe for meaning, though sometimes they're the same thing. When the world grows loud with certainty, the mystery becomes the gentlest place to rest. The unknown can feel frightening in daylight, but under night skies, it softens. It becomes space quiet, open, endless, a place where the mind can finally breathe. Tonight, we'll wander through the mysteries of science, the questions that no one can fully answer, the puzzles that sit patiently at the edge of knowledge, from the smallest particles trembling in quantum silence to the vast swirl of galaxies beyond sight. Each mystery will guide you closer, not to answers, but to stillness. You'll hear about what we see, what we imagine, and what might exist between. The unexplainable isn't emptiness, it's the hum of the universe thinking, the music behind every law. You don't need to solve anything, just listen, breathe, and let curiosity become calm. If you're still awake near the end, tell me where you're listening from tonight. It helps others find their way to this quiet space too. For now, let go of questions and let wonder hold you. The universe doesn't demand understanding, only presence. Let's begin. Why does something exist instead of nothing? It is the oldest and perhaps the most haunting question science has ever asked. Every atom, every particle, every flicker of light had to emerge from somewhere, yet before that, somewhere, there was no space for where at all. If the universe came from nothing, then nothing must be capable of something extraordinary. Physicists suggest that even in emptiness, quantum energy hums faintly, waiting for chance to bloom. Maybe creation wasn't a single event, but a constant unfolding, an eternal fluctuation between being and not being, or perhaps existence simply is no beginning, no outside, no alternative. When you look at the stars tonight, remember that each one is part of this question. Matter born from absence, form born from possibility. The greatest mystery isn't what began it, it's that it continues endlessly, beautifully, to be. Time only moves forward, or so we feel it, a river carrying us from memory toward the unknown. Yet physics suggests the laws of nature work perfectly in reverse. So why do we remember the past, but never the future? The answer might lie in entropy, the slow spreading of energy, the universe's drift toward disorder. The arrow of time points in the direction of increasing randomness. Still, it's more than heat and motion, it's perception. Consciousness itself experiences time as movement, giving meaning to change. A cup shatters but never reassembles. Stars burn but do not reignite. Perhaps the arrow of time isn't imposed by nature, but woven into awareness, the mind's way of organizing the chaos into sequence. The flow of time may not exist outside us. We might be the ones moving, not through time, but through attention, one heartbeat after another. Does the universe have an edge, or does it fold forever into itself? Astronomers describe space as curved, expanding, but boundless, like the surface of a balloon growing larger without revealing a border. If you traveled far enough in one direction, you might one day return from the opposite side. Though the universe is stretching faster than you could ever keep up, the cosmos isn't an explosion into empty space. It's space itself expanding, carrying galaxies like lanterns drifting apart. Yet human imagination yearns for an edge, a final frontier, a wall, a doorway, but perhaps there isn't one. Infinity might not mean endless distance, but seamless continuity. no beginning, no end, only curvature. The horizon is an illusion, a limit of perception. The universe may not end anywhere because it's not in anything. It simply continues, vast and self-contained, its own definition of forever. In the earliest moments after the Big Bang, matter and antimatter were created in perfect pairs, identical twins that annihilate each other on contact. By all logic, they should have erased themselves completely, leaving behind only light. Yet, somehow, one extra particle of matter survived for every billion destroyed. That tiny imbalance built everything we know: stars, oceans, life, you. But no one knows why the universe favored matter over antimatter. It may have been a quantum fluctuation, a broken symmetry, a gentle bias written into the laws of physics. That near-perfect imperfection gave rise to everything tangible. The cosmos itself exists because something leaned ever so slightly toward being instead of vanishing. It's a reminder that imbalance is not flaw but origin. The reason there is something rather than nothing, the universe, it seems, was born from a whisper of asymmetry, a cosmic tilt toward existence. Physicists use the word nothing often, but in truth, their nothing is never empty. Even the void between stars hums with energy. Virtual particles flicker in and out of being. Fields ripple without mass. Time still passes. True nothingness may not even exist. A perfect absence would have no space, no rules, no potential, yet that itself feels impossible to imagine. If nothing existed, how could it remain nothing? The universe may be proof that the vacuum cannot stay still, that even nothing wants to become something. Some theories suggest that universes may bubble endlessly out of quantum voids, like foam on an invisible sea. Others say that nothing is only the absence of our comprehension. Perhaps nothingness is not the opposite of everything, but its mirror, a calm so complete that creation itself arises naturally within its silence. At the smallest scale of existence, particles do not behave like pebbles or planets. They shimmer between possibilities existing in multiple places at once until something interacts with them. An electron can orbit here and there simultaneously, its position a blur of potential. This is called superposition, the strange rule of the quantum world. Only when we measure does it appear in one place, as if reality waits for attention before deciding where to stand. It's not that the universe hides information, it's that existence itself is flexible, built from probability, not certainty. Each particle holds countless paths, choosing only when touched by the act of awareness or interaction. It's a reminder that beneath every solid thing lies mystery, a foundation not of substance, but of possibility. A universe built from questions rather than answers, flickering quietly in and out of being, like thought itself. Observation changes what we see. In quantum experiments, the very act of watching can alter the outcome, as if reality reshapes itself under the weight of attention. When unobserved, particles drift in waves of probability, existing as many versions at once, but the moment they are measured, they seem to choose a single form. This strange truth blurs the line between perceiver and perceived, suggesting that knowledge is not passive, but participatory. We don't just look at the world, we help make it real. Science calls it the observer effect, but it feels like something older, the idea that awareness and existence are entangled. Perhaps the universe itself is an experiment still unfolding, watched from within by the eyes it created. The mystery isn't that observation changes things, It's that we are part of the observation, woven into the experiment we call reality. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, the way two particles, once connected, can mirror each other instantly, no matter how far apart. This phenomenon, known as entanglement, defies ordinary logic. Information seems to pass between them faster than light, yet no signal is exchanged. It's as if they share one hidden state, one silent agreement across the cosmos. When one spins, the other knows. When one changes, the other responds. Some physicists think entanglement reveals that the universe is more unified than we imagine, not a collection of separate parts, but a single fabric vibrating in harmony. In this view, distance is an illusion, and everything remains subtly connected. Even your thoughts, your atoms, may be entangled echoes of the same origin. The cosmos, it seems, is not a vast emptiness filled with things, but one infinite thing remembering itself through connection. Randomness might not be chaos, but the most fundamental order we know. At the quantum level, events occur without clear cause. A particle decays here, another waits there, unpredictably. Yet, over time, patterns emerge. Probability itself behaves with astonishing precision. The randomness seems woven into the rules, as if the universe balances freedom and structure perfectly. It's a strange comfort that beneath the symmetry of physics lies a pulse of spontaneity. Perhaps chance is how creation breathes, how the cosmos keeps itself alive and unrepeatable. Without randomness, nothing new could happen. Everything would be still. The uncertainty built into matter is not flaw but creativity, the constant reshuffling of what could be into what is. What looks like disorder may actually be the universe's way of composing its infinite variations of harmony, one unpredictable instant at a time. Whether consciousness collapses the wave of possibility remains one of science's most profound mysteries. When a quantum event occurs, it exists as probabilities until observed, but what counts as an observer? A machine, a person, or awareness itself? Some physicists propose that consciousness is not separate from matter, but a part of its unfolding, that the universe observes itself through every mind it creates. Others resist this idea, insisting the world would exist perfectly well without perception. Yet, in the space between those arguments lies a quiet wonder. Perhaps the act of knowing and the act of being are the same thing. Each thought may ripple through the fabric of possibility, selecting one version of reality over countless others. Whether or not awareness shapes the universe, it certainly completes it, turning existence into experience, turning the unknown into meaning. All around us, unseen and untouchable, lies dark matter, the invisible glue that holds galaxies together. We can't see it, yet we feel its pull. Stars spin in clusters far too fast to be bound by visible mass, so something hidden must be anchoring them. It neither emits nor reflects light, passing through everything like a shadow made of gravity. Though it makes up most of the universe's matter, no one knows what it is. Perhaps exotic particles, perhaps something stranger. It forms the scaffolding of the cosmos, an unseen web where galaxies gather like dew on invisible threads. Without it, the universe would fly apart, unable to hold shape. Dark matter is proof that what matters most may be what we cannot see, the quiet presence behind every orbit, the still hand beneath the spinning stars, the structure of mystery itself. Then there is dark energy, even more elusive, even more powerful. It is the unknown force causing the universe not just to expand, but to accelerate, stretching faster as time unfolds. Imagine space itself, growing between galaxies, pushing them apart with silent urgency. No one knows why. It might be a property of the vacuum, a pressure of emptiness, or something entirely beyond our equations. Yet it governs everything. Without dark energy, gravity would pull the universe back inward, collapsing it into itself. Instead, expansion wins a steady, invisible tide. More than 2/3 of existence is this unseen energy, to a cosmic breath, inflating the universe into deeper silence. It reminds us that what drives creation is not always visible or measurable. Sometimes, the most powerful forces are those that move without being seen, shaping destiny through the quiet persistence of emptiness. Becoming more, is the cosmos infinite, cyclic, or something like a simulation? Perhaps all of these ideas hold fragments of truth. Some theories say the universe loops endlessly, expanding and contracting like a heartbeat of creation. Others imagine it as boundless, stretching forever, stars fading into eternal distance. And still others whisper that everything we see may be code, a grand illusion generated by deeper laws beyond comprehension. The patterns in physics, the precision of constants, the strange harmony of mathematics all feel almost too perfect to be coincidence. Yet whether infinite or designed, the mystery remains the same. Existence continues, precise yet unpredictable, vast yet intimate. If the universe is cyclic, it dreams of itself over and over. If simulated, it dreams through us. Either way, we are inside something magnificent and unknown, a system both mechanical and miraculous, endlessly reflecting the question of what is real. How many universes might exist beyond our own? Theories of the multiverse suggest countless others, each with its own laws, dimensions, and beginnings. Some may be lifeless voids, others brimming with forms of matter we cannot imagine. Perhaps every possibility that could ever exist already does, scattered like infinite reflections across the mirror of reality. Our universe could be one ripple in a vast sea of creation, unaware of the others yet shaped by their presence. If true, every choice, every particle, every heartbeat may echo elsewhere, repeating in endless variation. We are not alone, not just in life, but in existence itself. The multiverse idea doesn't make reality smaller, it makes wonder larger. Even if we never reach those other worlds, we can feel their gravity in imagination, the endless chorus of possible realities humming softly beyond the reach of light. Some physicists propose that reality is not solid at all, but holographic, that everything we experience in 3 dimensions might be encoded on a vast 2-dimensional surface, like an image projected into space. In this view, depth and form are illusions, information stretched into perception. Even gravity might emerge from equations written on that unseen boundary. The idea feels impossible, yet it solves riddles of black holes and entropy with elegant precision. If true, it means the entire universe, stars, mountains, memories could be a shimmering reflection of patterns beyond our sight. But far from diminishing meaning, this idea deepens it. A hologram is not false, it's light arranged into beauty. If reality itself is a projection, then perhaps consciousness is the light, turning data into experience, the universe watching itself, learning how to exist through the lens of wonder. No one knows what sparked the Big Bang, the moment when everything that exists burst outward from an infinitely dense, hot point. Space, time, energy, and matter all began together in that first instant. Yet what caused it remains unknowable. Some physicists imagine a fluctuation in a quantum field, a tremor in emptiness that blossomed into reality. Others suggest cycles of expansion and collapse, one universe giving birth to the next, in an endless rhythm, but perhaps there was no cause. No, before. Only the sudden unfolding of potential. The Big Bang wasn't an explosion in space. It was the birth of space itself, silence transforming into distance. Heat and light. From that invisible seed grew galaxies, stars, and life. To wonder what sparked it is to stand at the edge of understanding, listening for an echo from a time before time, a beginning beyond beginnings. Did time begin with the Big Bang, or was it always there? Physics whispers that time may have started alongside matter and space, a dimension born with the first expansion. Before that, before has no meaning. There was no flow, no sequence, no clock to measure anything at all. Yet some theories suggest a deeper symmetry, that time stretches endlessly in both directions, folding the universe into cycles of death and rebirth. In that vision, what we call beginning might just be one moment in an eternal pattern. Time is not a straight line but a loop, curling back on itself in endless renewal. Whether it started once or forever turns, it remains the medium of all experience, the canvas where creation paints its story. Perhaps time did not start. Perhaps it was simply noticed. The first awareness that something had begun to move. The physical laws of the universe are astonishingly precise constants, so exact that even the smallest change would make life impossible. Gravity, light, nuclear forces all tuned with mathematical perfection. Why? Some call it coincidence. The luck of an infinite cosmos trying every variation. Others see pattern, purpose, or inevitability, that life was not an accident, but the natural consequence of harmony. The universe could have been cold, empty, and silent, yet it became balanced enough to build stars, planets, and breath. The equations of physics are not just abstract, they are poetry written in motion. To ponder why they fit so perfectly is to feel both humility and awe that existence is not chaos but composition. Maybe the laws are tuned for life, or maybe life is tuned to find itself in the only kind of universe that allows beauty to unfold. If the Big Bang happened once, could it happen again, or is it still happening somewhere beyond our reach? Some scientists imagine an infinite expanse where new universes constantly bloom, each isolated bubble expanding in its own direction. To us, they're invisible, sealed off by distance and speed. Yet each might hold its own physics, its own stars, its own idea of life. In this vision, creation is not a singular event but a cosmic habit, an endless blossoming of possibility. Our Big Bang may be just one breath in a much larger rhythm, universes rising and dissolving like waves on an unseen ocean. The thought is vast and strangely comforting. It means existence is never finished, that the fire of creation still burns somewhere in the dark, birthing new beginnings, even as we gaze at the fading light of our own. What came before the beginning, before the Big Bang? Before time? Before even nothingness? The question bends language itself. Before implies time, but time may not have existed. If there was something, what created that? If nothing, how did something emerge? Science edges close, but cannot cross the boundary. Perhaps the answer is that there is no before, only timelessness, a silence so complete it gave birth to sound. Maybe the universe is the dream of something beyond comprehension, or a natural pulse that repeats without memory. Some physicists imagine a pre-cosmic field, eternal and self-aware, from which energy flowed like thought. Others accept the mystery, finding peace in the unanswerable. What came before everything might not be a question of physics, but of wonder, the universe's way of reminding us that not every door needs to be opened to feel the light behind it. Somewhere in the quiet chemistry of a young planet, consciousness began. Molecules formed patterns. Then patterns began to copy themselves. And somewhere in that repetition, awareness flickered into being. Carbon and water became curiosity. Atoms became thought. The line between matter and mind blurred, until the universe could look back at itself and wonder, how does chemistry become consciousness? No one knows. It may be an emergent property, like light appearing when fire burns, or something deeper, the universe's own reflection finding form. Neurons speak through electricity, yet somehow that chatter gives rise to emotion, memory, and dream. Within every thought lies chemistry, and within every atom, potential for self-recognition. Perhaps life is not separate from the universe, but its expression matter briefly awake, aware enough to ask what it is. The miracle is not that we can think, but that atoms learned how. Water was the first cradle of life, a soft blue laboratory that carried the planet's earliest secrets. Within its depths, molecules met and mingled, shielded from harsh light and violent storms. Hydrogen and oxygen combined to form a solvent capable of dissolving nearly everything, the perfect medium for creation. Yet some wonder if life truly began here or arrived from beyond, carried on asteroids or cosmic dust. If so, every drop of ocean may hold memory from the stars. Even now, water still births new worlds, in clouds, in cells, in every living heartbeat. Its cycles, rain to river, to sea to sky, echo the cycles of life itself. Whether earthly or cosmic, water is continuity, the element that connects all origins, the first cell to divide, the first breath to rise. Both were whispers through liquid. Life and water are inseparable reflections of the same dream. The genetic code is language written in molecules, a script 4 letters long that spells every form of life on Earth. Within the twisting ladder of DNA, sequences of adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine combine like words, forming instructions for building bodies, thoughts, and memory. It is grammar without author, syntax without sound, yet somehow this molecular alphabet composes forests, oceans, and the beating of hearts. The code repeats across species, evidence that all life shares the same root sentence. You and an oak tree read from the same alphabet of being, rearranged through time. DNA is not just storage, it is continuity, a story that copies itself generation after generation, editing with each mutation. Every strand in your cells carries echoes of ancient oceans and forgotten ancestors. To read it is to hear the planet's autobiography, written not in ink, but in light and living matter. Viruses challenge the definition of life. They reproduce, evolve, and adapt, yet cannot live without a host. They exist in a liminal state, a whisper between chemistry and biology, neither fully alive nor truly inert. Some see them as the remnants of early life, fragments of genetic code still wandering the boundary between existence and non-existence. Others call them nature's messengers, moving information between species, weaving evolution's story. Though they can bring destruction, they also drive change, shaping immunity, diversity, and adaptation. In their simplicity, viruses reveal the complexity of life's design, that being alive may not be a single state, but a spectrum of becoming. Each virus is a reflection of life's persistence, a reminder that creation often hides within danger, and that even in fragility, the will to survive remains one of the universe's most powerful instincts. DNA endures where everything else fails. Species vanish, continents drift, and ages turn to dust. Yet that fragile double helix persists, rewriting itself through every survivor. It carries the memory of the first cell and the potential for everything that will ever live. Across mass extinction, it has adapted, reshaped, and reinvented itself, preserving the essence of existence through change. It is both archive and architect, storing instructions for life while allowing room for evolution's improvisation. Inside the brain, billions of neurons whisper to one another through tiny sparks of electricity. Each thought, each memory, each feeling is a pattern of energy moving through this web of living wires. A single neuron is simple, but together they form complexity beyond comprehension networks that reshape themselves with every experience. When you recall a moment or imagine something new, your brain rewrites its own connections, building pathways of light and chemistry. Thought is motion, memory is structure, and both exist in constant flux. No one fully understands how awareness emerges from this storm of activity, how molecules of carbon and oxygen become emotion, or how electrical charge becomes identity. The mind is the universe turned inward, exploring itself through circuitry. Within every spark lies a question the cosmos asks of itself. What does it mean for matter to know it exists? Dreams blur the line between illusion and truth. When you sleep, your brain replays fragments of memory, weaving them with imagination into stories that feel as real as waking life. The same regions that perceive the world by day light up again at night, creating sensations, faces, and places from nothing but thought. Time loses meaning, logic dissolves, yet somehow, dreams carry emotions so vivid, it lingers even after you wake. Scientists believe they help organize memory, process emotion, and test possibilities safely within imagination. But there's something deeper, a language older than words. A nightly conversation between the conscious and the unseen. When you dream, the mind rehearses being alive, reminding itself of its own mystery. The feeling of reality in dreams is not deception but recognition, an echo of the greater dream we call existence, where thought and experience forever intertwine. Where does consciousness live? Scientists map brain regions, measure waves, and study neural patterns. Yet the source of awareness remains elusive. It seems to arise from the whole, not any single part, a harmony of activity that becomes experience. Perhaps consciousness is not confined within the skull at all, but an emergent field connecting body, environment, and perception. Consciousness may not live in the brain. It may be the space through which the brain and everything else comes to life. Is free will an illusion, Or do we truly choose? Every decision begins in the brain as a flicker of activity, sometimes milliseconds before we become aware of it. Some experiments suggest the mind decides before the self knows it has, as if consciousness lags slightly behind the machinery of thought. Yet awareness can still influence what follows, shaping intention, reflection, restraint. Perhaps free will is not about absolute control, but participation, steering a river that already flows. The neurons obey physics, but the patterns they form create meaning, choice, and story. To feel free may be the deepest form of freedom itself. Even if the mechanism is complex, the mystery of will isn't whether it's real, but how something so physical can feel so personal, how the universe can create a mind that believes, chooses, and becomes within its own vast design. When many minds gather, something larger seems to form a shared awareness beyond individuals. Humanity thinks in networks now, connected by language, technology, and empathy. Ideas spread like neurons firing in a global brain, shaping culture, science, and emotion across continents. Even nature mirrors this phenomenon. Flocks, schools, and colonies move as one, guided by instinct, yet behaving as if possessed by singular intelligence. Could consciousness itself scale upward, forming patterns that transcend the individual? Perhaps thought is never private, but part of a collective field that hums through the species, the planet, the universe. When one person dreams, it is quiet. When millions imagine, worlds change. Our minds may be threads of one larger fabric, woven together by curiosity and care. The mystery of consciousness might not be who we are alone, but what we become together when we think as one. Bioluminescence is chemistry turned into art, a spark of survival glowing in eternal night. To look upon these beings is to see the planet dreaming, life adapting to extremes we can barely imagine. In the deepest places on Earth, the ocean becomes the cosmos reborn, black, endless, scattered with points of light. The creatures that live there are reminders that even in the darkest voids, existence finds a way to shine. Beneath the sea, time keeps secrets. Lost cities sleep under rising tide's temples. Streets and statues swallowed by shifting coastlines and earthquakes. Civilizations once vibrant now rest beneath coral and sand, their histories rewritten by waves. Some ruins are known: the submerged temples of India, the sunken city of Heracleion near Egypt, the drowned plains beneath the Black Sea. Others remain speculation, whispered myths of Atlantis or Lemuria. The ocean is both grave and guardian, preserving what it takes. Each discovery beneath the surface reminds us how fragile our dominion is, how easily the sea reclaims what was once ours. Yet these ruins are not only losses, they are connections across eras. The water that covers them also links us to them. The same tides that moved through ancient harbors still rise and fall today, carrying memory through liquid eternity. In the depths, there are sounds that defy explanation, echoes and hums too powerful, too patterned to be chance. Microphones placed deep in the Pacific and Atlantic have recorded strange calls, pulses, and vibrations unlike any known creature or machine. Some last seconds, others hours, reverberating through the dark water. Scientists have tried to match them: shifting ice, volcanic movement, whales beyond known frequency. yet many remain nameless. These sounds remind us that the ocean is still a frontier, a landscape of mystery as vast as space. Every unidentified tone is a question, a whisper from the deep where light has never touched. To hear it is to be reminded that the earth is alive beneath silence, that even in the dark, there are voices speaking in frequencies too low, too ancient, or too alien for us to yet understand. In 1997, hydrophones in the Pacific Ocean picked up one of the loudest underwater sounds ever recorded. It rose and fell like a living call, powerful enough to travel thousands of miles through the water. It symbolizes the wonder of discovery, how a single, unexplained sound can capture the imagination of an entire world. Whether ice or life, the bloop reminds us that mystery itself is music, the ocean humming its deep, patient song beneath the noise of human certainty. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the bottom of our own oceans. The sea hides its secrets behind pressure and darkness so absolute that even machines struggle to survive. Less than a fifth of the ocean floor has been mapped in detail, and yet it covers most of the planet. There could be mountains taller than Everest, trenches deeper than any valley, ecosystems older than light itself, waiting unseen. Why do we gaze outward while knowing so little inward? Perhaps because the unknown so close feels more intimate, more humbling. The ocean is not merely unexplored, it is unknowable, alive, and shifting every moment. Its depths hold both origin and oblivion, the beginning of life and its constant reminder. Beneath every wave lies the history of the world, written in salt and shadow, waiting for someone brave enough to listen. Time bends under the weight of gravity, near something massive, like a planet or a black hole. The clocks slow down, not by trick or illusion, but by the very fabric of space-time stretching. Einstein showed that time and space are one tapestry, woven together so that mass curves both. A second on a mountain passes faster than one in a valley, and astronauts orbiting Earth age a little more slowly than those on the ground. To the mind, this seems impossible, yet it is measurable, precise, and real. The universe does not keep one universal rhythm. Each place has its own tempo. Time is not constant but alive, shaped by gravity's pull. When you stand beneath the stars, you're already existing in a slightly different moment than the sky above. The cosmos breathes in relativity, and time itself becomes part of the landscape, bending quietly around everything it holds. Does the past still exist somewhere? Physics hints that it might. Every second leaves a trace written into the geometry of existence. Perhaps memory itself is the human way of touching those unseen layers, of feeling the permanence of what was. The past isn't gone, it's simply out of reach, folded behind the present, like a page we've turned. But that still exists within the endless book of time. If the past influences the present, could the future do the same? Quantum mechanics suggests that possibility may flow both ways, that some events depend not only on what has happened, but on what will happen. In experiments, particles seem to adjust behavior based on measurements taken afterward, as if reality itself accounts for what's coming. It challenges causality, the idea that cause must precede effect. Perhaps time is not linear but holistic, each moment part of an interconnected whole that transcends sequence. To consciousness bound by memory, that's difficult to imagine, yet intuition sometimes feels the future before it arrives. Patterns forming in silence before awareness catches up. Whether this is physics or perception, it hints at something profound. The universe may not move through time, It may exist as time, every event influencing every other, forward and backward, in one fast, eternal conversation. We age because time leaves its fingerprints on the body. Cells divide, DNA accumulates as. Molecules break down each change, a mark of entropy's steady climb. But why should time have direction at all? The laws of physics work the same forward or backward, yet life only moves one way. Perhaps aging is the body's translation of time's arrow, the way matter experiences its own impermanence. Some theorists imagine that time doesn't truly flow, that all moments coexist. And what we call aging is simply our consciousness moving through them in sequence. The wrinkles, the memories, the feeling of hours passing all may be perception, not motion. For light, the universe is timeless. Yet light carries time's story, illuminating the past as it reaches us from distant stars. Every beam that touches your eyes tonight may have left its source millions of years ago, bringing ancient moments into the present. In that way, photons are messengers between eternities, bridging now and forever. They reveal a truth both humbling and serene. Time is relative to motion, and stillness may hold infinity. To live as light does would be to exist entirely in the present, weightless, ageless, forever arriving in a single, unbroken moment of being. Light moves at the same speed for everyone, everywhere, no matter how fast you chase it or where you stand. This constancy puzzled Einstein and became the foundation of relativity. It means time and space must bend to protect that speed, the universe reshaping itself so that light's pace never changes. To the photon, distance and duration collapse into one timeless instant. To us, that constancy defines reality. Nothing outruns it. Nothing remains unaffected by it. Light is both rule and revelation, the rhythm by which the cosmos measures itself. When you see a sunrise, you're witnessing that ancient law in motion, energy moving at the same speed it always has. Since the first flash of creation, no matter how far it travels, light never slows, never rests. It is the universe's most faithful traveler, always keeping the same beat across eternity's vast silence. When light passes near a massive object, it bends not because gravity pulls it, but because space itself curves. Einstein's general relativity revealed that mass shapes the geometry of the universe, and light simply follows the curve. Starlight, bent by galaxies, becomes a lens, magnifying distant worlds we'd otherwise never see. This bending is proof that gravity is not a force in the traditional sense, but the shape of reality itself. The universe glows faintly with the afterlight of its own birth. This glow, called the cosmic microwave background, is the remnant of the Big Bang radiation stretched thin by time, still filling every direction. It's not bright or warm now, it's a whisper, a memory just 3 degrees above absolute zero. Yet it holds the story of everything that followed, the first atoms forming, the first light escaping darkness. Every inch of sky carries this ancient signal, proof that the universe was once hot, dense, and luminous. It's the oldest photograph ever taken, the cosmos remembering its beginning. When you look into that faint background hum, you are peering into the moment when energy became matter, when silence became motion. That radiation is the universe's first heartbeat, still echoing. It surrounds you always, invisible yet constant, the soft light of origin humming quietly through all of space. Does light remember what it touches? Photons carry information about color, temperature, texture. Every reflection leaves an imprint. When they strike an object, they scatter in patterns that encode shape and motion, tiny messengers of interaction. In that sense, light is memory in motion, each wave a record of where it has been. When it reaches your eyes, it transmits that story, turning physics into perception. The light from distant stars tells us their composition and age. The light bouncing off your hand reveals the history of every atom it meets. Some physicists wonder if, in theory, all information light ever carried still exists somewhere, faint but preserved within the universe's field. If so, nothing ever truly disappears. Every photon would be a witness, every reflection a page in the ongoing chronicle of being a library written in the language of illumination and time. When light falls into a black hole, it appears to vanish, pulled beyond the event horizon, the boundary where even escape loses meaning. Yet according to quantum theory, information cannot be destroyed. So where does the light story go? Some believe it remains encoded at the edge, stretched into patterns of radiation, a cosmic safeguard known as the holographic principle. Others imagine it dissolves into the black hole's singularity, reborn in ways we can't yet imagine. Death is not an error of nature, but one of its finest designs. Every organism that dies becomes nourishment for something else. Fallen leaves feed the soil, decayed bodies return carbon and nitrogen to the air and earth, fueling forests and oceans. Without death, ecosystems would suffocate under their own weight. Life's balance would collapse. The end of one form allows countless others to begin. Even within us, cells die daily so that tissues can renew. Old patterns replaced by new ones. Death is not destruction but transformation, a continuation by another name. In this constant exchange, the planet breathes inhale and exhale, growth and decay, forever cycling. Life depends on endings to remain alive. The universe itself follows this rhythm. Galaxies burning out and giving birth again. Every death, from a leaf to a star, is simply matter remembering how to become something else. Moments before death, the brain may release a final burst of energy, a flood of electrical activity that lights neural pathways in patterns similar to dreaming. People who return from near death often describe vivid visions, tunnels of light, réunion, feelings of peace. Science suggests these may arise from the brain's chemistry. As oxygen drops and neurotransmitters surge, creating a dreamlike cascade of memory and imagination, yet the experience feels deeply real, transcend even. Perhaps this final surge is the mind's way of softening the transition, turning chaos into beauty, confusion into calm. In those last seconds, the brain replays the essence of life sites, emotions, the feeling of continuity, whether a biological reflex or something greater. These visions reveal that even as the body fades, awareness finds its own gentle language for letting go. The end, it seems, is written as a dream of light. The physics of near-death experiences fascinates both scientists and philosophers. When the heart stops, blood flow to the brain ceases, but electrical activity continues for a brief moment, seconds that can stretch into eternity within perception. The boundaries of time, identity, and space blur. The tunnel of light, some describe, may result from the narrowing of vision as the retina loses oxygen. Feelings of floating could come from disrupted signals in the vestibular system. As consciousness fades, neurons go quiet one by one, their signals slowing into silence. Awareness unravels gently, like the dimming of stars at dawn. But where does it go? Science cannot yet say. Some theories propose consciousness emerges from quantum processes within the brain, delicate patterns that dissolve when the system fails, returning to the larger field of reality. Others imagine it persists, encoded in energy or memory woven into space-time itself. Perhaps awareness is not confined to the body at all, but part of the universe's fabric, momentarily concentrated in a living form. When life ends, it may simply return to that field, rejoining the silence it came from. Whether this is poetic metaphor or physical truth, the idea offers peace that death is not disappearance but dispersal, the continuation of consciousness in subtler, infinite vibrations beyond our current understanding. Even in death, creation continues. When massive stars exhaust their fuel, they collapse and explode as supernovae, scattering heavy elements across space, the building blocks of planets, oceans, and life. Every atom of iron in your blood was forged in such a cosmic death. The universe recycles endlessly, turning endings into origins. Galaxies feed on the remnants of the old, birthing new stars from the ashes of the dead. In this sense, death is the universe's way of renewing itself, an ongoing alchemy of energy and matter. The same rule applies on Earth. Forests grow richer from decay, coral thrives on remains, and seeds sprout where fire once burned. To fear death is to forget that it fuels existence itself. Each ending is simply the universe exhaling, preparing for its next breath, a quiet promise that nothing ever truly disappears, only transforms. Gravity is the weakest of all known forces, yet it commands everything. It can't be blocked or cancelled. It stretches across galaxies, shaping stars, planets, and time itself. A small magnet on your fridge easily overpowers Earth's pull. Yet that same gravity holds the moon in orbit and binds the Milky Way. Its weakness allows it to act gently but universally, a whisper that accumulates over distance until it becomes destiny. Beneath the surface of the planet, molten metal spins and flows, creating an immense magnetic field that shields life from cosmic radiation. This invisible structure, stretching far into space, turns Earth into a living compass. Every spark of lightning, every aurora, every compass needle owes its dance to this pulse of molten iron deep within. Magnetism is not only physics, it's heartbeat, the planet's silent rhythm in motion. Animals sense it instinctively, guiding migrations across oceans and continents. The field reverses occasionally, flipping north and south in cycles older than humanity. Without it, solar winds would strip our atmosphere bare. Magnetism binds Earth to the cosmos, linking motion and protection in one unseen thread. It is proof that even invisible forces nurture life, whispering through metal, light, and water, shaping not just direction but destiny with every subtle vibration of the planet's magnetic song. Atoms never truly touch. What feels like contact is actually resistance, the electromagnetic forces between their electrons repelling one another. When you press your hand against a wall, no particles ever meet. Instead, fields interact, creating the sensation of solidity. Everything physical is built from emptiness, bound by invisible forces. Between the nucleus and its electrons lies vast space, proportionally greater than the distance between planets and stars. Matter, it turns out, is mostly nothing. Held together by energy, you have never truly touched anything, nor has anything ever truly touched you. Only fields, embracing fields, resistance, meeting resistance, and yet, from that separation, texture, form, and presence arise. The illusion of contact is what allows us to experience the world, to feel warmth, motion, and connection. The universe is built not from closeness, but from the delicate balance between what comes together and what never quite does. Empty space is not empty at all. Even in the void, particles flicker in and out of existence, virtual pairs appearing and vanishing faster than any eye or instrument can catch. This quantum foam fills every inch of the universe, a restless sea of possibility. The silence of the void is not absence but fullness beyond measure, to a reminder that what we call nothing is the universe's most profound illusion, a calm ocean concealing infinite, unseen motion. Atoms are tiny solar systems, yet something prevents them from collapsing under their own attraction. That hidden energy is the quantum field, a delicate balance between motion and uncertainty. Electrons never rest. They move in clouds of probability. Their constant motion, keeping them from spiraling into the nucleus. This restless energy, born from the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, is what gives matter stability. Without it, all atoms would crumble in an instant, and the universe would dissolve into featureless light, even at absolute zero. When everything seems still, quantum motion persists. This zero-point energy is nature's foundation, the hum beneath existence. It keeps everything from nothingness, tension from relaxation. The world we touch and see is built upon that quiet struggle between attraction and resistance, collapse and persistence. At the smallest scale, balance is survival, and the universe endures because even its smallest pieces refuse to fall completely silent. Nature builds itself through repetition and variation fractals, patterns that echo endlessly across scales. The same geometry that shapes clouds also forms rivers, trees, and even the branching of your lungs. From a distance, they look chaotic. Up close, they reveal structure repeating with infinite precision. Fractals show that order doesn't need straight lines, it thrives in irregularity. Coastlines, lightning bolts, mountain ridges, all follow this same mathematical rhythm, complexity born from simplicity. The universe writes its signature in these patterns. From the smallest blood vessel to the largest galactic arm, each is unique, yet all are connected by shared geometry, a visual whisper of unity in chaos. When you breathe, you mirror the same laws that move oceans and weather. Without randomness, existence would stagnate into rigid symmetry. It is chance that makes beauty alive, the motion that keeps order from suffocating itself. Even evolution depends on randomness, mutations that spark diversity and adaptation. The unpredictable is not the enemy of structure, it is its companion. When seen closely, what looks random reveals hidden rhythm. Like music too vast to hear, the beauty of randomness is that it ensures nothing is repeated exactly, that every sunrise, every heartbeat, every snowflake is singular. The universe never copies itself. It only improvises, playing an endless song composed of accidents that somehow sound like intention. The butterfly effect, A phrase born from chaos theory teaches that even the smallest change can alter the course of worlds. A single shift in air might grow into a storm. A moment's hesitation can change a lifetime. In physics, this is sensitivity to initial conditions, the idea that all systems, no matter how large, are shaped by subtle beginnings. Galaxies, weather, ecosystems, even thought follow this hidden law. It means nothing is insignificant. Every molecule matters. Every instant participates in creation. Chaos is not disorder, but the deep sensitivity of an interconnected world. The wind that moves a leaf might ripple across oceans, unseen but real. When you breathe, the air you move becomes part of this pattern, touching everything in time. The universe is both vast and delicate, where storms and stars are born from whispers that began too small to notice. The universe loves symmetry. It builds balance into particles, forces, and even biology. Yet perfection never lasts. Symmetry breaks. And from that fracture, diversity is born. Matter exists because perfect symmetry once failed, leaving a slight imbalance that became everything. In art, in physics, in life, beauty lies not in flawless repetition, but in the gentle deviation that creates meaning. Symmetry gives structure, but its breaking gives story. The same principle governs galaxies and faces. Music and molecules balance, disturbed just enough to create motion. The cosmos dances on that edge, forever chasing equilibrium, yet never reaching it. This constant tension drives creation itself. Without broken symmetry, there would be no difference. No gravity. No us. What we call randomness may be the limits of perception, not the absence of law. Yet true randomness might exist too. At the quantum level where uncertainty is woven into being, perhaps both are true, chaos and order as two faces of the same truth. Predictability gives comfort. Unpredictability gives possibility. Without chance, there could be no creation, no freedom for newness to appear, whether by law or luck. The universe unfolds with exquisite unpredictability, a harmony built from surprise. What feels like accident may simply be destiny written in code too complex for any single mind to read. Everywhere you look, numbers reveal themselves in the spirals of galaxies, the curves of shells, the branching of rivers and veins. Nature follows patterns that can be measured, but not always explained. Ratios, symmetry, and proportion appear without intent, as if mathematics is the language creation speaks by instinct. The petals of a flower, the spacing of planets, the rhythm of waves all follow hidden numerical harmony. Even chaos, when observed closely, resolves into geometry. These patterns remind us that the universe may not just obey math, it may be math. Existence unfolds through rules, too elegant to be coincidence. Precision woven into beauty. When you see repetition in clouds or spirals in storms, you're witnessing numbers at play, order disguised as art. The world doesn't merely contain mathematics, it expresses it endlessly, effortlessly, like a heartbeat written in numbers and light. The Fibonacci sequence 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13 is a quiet rhythm that runs through life and cosmos alike. Each number is the sum of the two before, a pattern of growth that balances order and expansion. You can find it in pine cones, sunflowers, hurricanes, and galaxies in the spiral of a seashell and the curve of a nebula. It's nature's way of fitting complexity into harmony, creating beauty through balance. Perhaps reality itself is written in equations. Every particle, wave, and force follows precise mathematical laws, from the motion of planets to the behavior of light. Yet math doesn't just describe these things, it predicts them with eerie perfection, even before discovery. Equations have revealed what must exist: particles unseen, worlds unmeasured. That precision feels almost mystical, as if numbers underlie being itself. Plato imagined that the universe was built from geometry. Modern science finds that geometry still rules. Symmetry, ratio, and constant relationships define the boundaries of the possible. Maybe the cosmos is not a machine running on math, but a living equation endlessly solving itself. To understand reality, then, is not to translate it into numbers, but to realize that it is number existence arranged in logical grace. The infinite written in symbols that both humans and stars seem to understand. Infinity is not a number, but an idea, one that stretches logic to its limits. It represents the endless, the boundaryless, the forever unfolding. In nature, we glimpse it everywhere, in the repetition of waves, in the unending spread of space, in the infinite divisibility of time and matter. Mathematicians describe different kinds of infinity, some larger than others, each beyond comprehension. The concept itself challenges the human mind, for we live within limits while existing inside the infinite. The stars above us are uncountable, yet each one proves infinity's truth. The universe expands endlessly, and even within the smallest atom lies potential without end. Infinity isn't just a measure of size, but of possibility, the promise that existence never truly stops. To think of it is to brush against eternity, to feel the endless unfolding of creation written quietly into every corner of being. Was mathematics discovered or invented? The question divides minds and unites wonder. Equations describe what already is, yet their discovery requires imagination, creativity, bound to precision. Maybe math exists, like a mountain waiting to be found, and humans are the climbers, not the creators. In either case, mathematics remains the most mysterious language, one that everyone speaks. Yet no one truly understands who first began the conversation. Some planets glitter in darkness, with storms of carbon that turn to diamond as they fall. Beneath their thick atmospheres, lightning and heat compress carbon into crystals, creating rain that never reaches the ground, a downpour of jewels lost in eternal pressure. Neptune and Uranus may shimmer with such storms, their interiors layered with oceans of liquid diamond, where stones sink like raindrops in molten light. It's a vision both strange and elegant, worlds where treasure is common and beauty is physics at work. Diamond rain reminds us that nature's art is indifferent to desire. It creates wonder without witness, perfection without purpose. Somewhere far away, a storm might be sculpting gems that no one will ever see, proving that even in silence, the universe decorates itself endlessly, turning carbon and chaos into glittering order deep within alien skies of blue fire. Beneath the icy crusts of distant moons, Antarctica oceans may sleep, hidden for billions of years. Europa, Enceladus, and Titan hold vast seas sealed under frozen shells, warmed by tidal forces and inner heat. These waters may cradle life unlike anything on Earth, creatures thriving in darkness, feeding on chemical energy rather than sunlight. Plumes of vapor burst from cracks, releasing whispers of these buried worlds into space. When spacecraft pass through, they taste salt, organic molecules, the faint breath of possibility. These oceans are not just water, they are time capsules, preserving ancient chemistry from the dawn of the solar system. Beneath miles of ice, life may already be listening, dreaming, or waiting. The idea that oceans can exist without light redefines what alive can mean, even in the coldest shadows. Warmth endures, and the universe continues its quiet experiment in creation. Somewhere, intelligence might see beauty in colors we cannot perceive, in wavelengths beyond our senses. Maybe alien life doesn't dream of sunlight at all. Maybe it dreams of heat, sound, magnetism. To wonder about it is to expand the idea of life itself. The universe does not repeat. It invents endlessly, whether breathing oxygen or methane, dreaming in starlight or shadow. Life, wherever it arises, is the cosmos learning to feel, to see, and to marvel at its own reflection. On Mars, the wind sings across red deserts, shaping dunes and whispering through canyons. It carries dust like fine smoke, carving ripples in stone and painting the sky with faint storms. When microphones captured its sound for the first time, it was both haunting and familiar, a low, steady, hum-like breath itself. The Martian wind connects silence and memory, reminding us that even barren worlds are alive with movement. It speaks in grains, not words, in erosion, not language. Listening to it feels like hearing the planet exhale, slowly, patiently, beneath the thin veil of its atmosphere. The sound is small, almost shy. Yet, it travels millions of miles to reach us, a message from a world that no longer has oceans but still remembers flow. On Mars, even the wind seems ancient, whispering softly to the dust it has carried for eternity. For every world we've discovered, there are countless others we never will, planets orbiting distant stars. Lost in cosmic dusk, some may have oceans and storms, others, fire and crystal skies. Many will never be seen, their light too faint, their orbits too far. Yet their existence changes everything. They remind us that our universe is not a single story but a library of possibilities, endless and unread. Each unseen world has weather, gravity, chemistry, its own quiet poetry of motion. To know they exist, even without seeing, is to feel the immensity of creation somewhere out there. Sunlight warms a foreign sea, shadows fall on alien mountains, and night glows with unfamiliar constellations. The unseen worlds do not need us to exist, they already are, and in their vast silence, they mirror our own smallness and our belonging to the infinite whole. It means that every breath you take once belonged to something ancient aflame, a storm, a heartbeat, long gone. Energy is the great recycler, turning decay into life, silence into vibration, stillness into motion. Nothing in the universe is ever truly lost. It only changes its rhythm, direction, its form continuing the eternal dance between matter and movement that keeps everything alive. Matter and energy are two sides of the same coin, interchangeable expressions of existence. Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared, revealed that a tiny amount of matter can unleash unimaginable energy. inside stars. Hydrogen fuses into helium, converting mass into radiant light that travels across galaxies. The same process, controlled differently, fuels nuclear power on Earth. When matter turns to energy, it isn't destroyed, it transforms into motion, heat, and radiation. Conversely, energy can condense back into particles, creating matter from light. This relationship blurs the boundary between what is and what moves. The universe itself may have begun with this transformation, pure energy crystallizing into atoms, stars, and life. Every cell, every stone, every breath is frozen light, waiting to move again. Matter is energy slowed enough to hold shape. Energy is matter set free to remember its brilliance. Some scientists and philosophers wonder whether consciousness could be a form of energy, not something produced by the brain, but something fundamental, like gravity or magnetism. Thoughts move, transmit, and transform. They have no mass, yet they affect matter. Neurons fire, hearts race, hands move. Could awareness itself be a field that interacts with reality? Just as magnetism moves metal, quantum theories sometimes hint that observation changes outcomes, that consciousness might influence probability itself. Perhaps the mind is not trapped inside the body, but entangled with the universe, flowing through it like current through wire. If energy never disappears, maybe awareness doesn't either. It only shifts, disperses, reassembles. It's the background heartbeat of existence, proof that the vacuum is not truly void, but alive with potential. These fluctuations give rise to particles that blink into and out of being, shaping the structure of the cosmos. Some physicists believe zero-point energy could be the engine driving the expansion of space itself. It is the silence that is never silent, the stillness that contains infinite motion. When you sit quietly, you are surrounded by this invisible ocean of energy, pressing gently through everything, including you. Nothing ever rests completely, even in perfect calm. The universe trembles. The hum of zero-point energy is creation's softest sound, the eternal vibration beneath reality's still and luminous surface. When light fades, where does its energy go? It doesn't vanish, it transforms, absorbed into matter, scattered into heat, woven back into the fabric of the universe. Every photon that touches a leaf becomes growth. Every ray that warms the ground becomes motion in the air. Even darkness is filled with invisible radiation. Remnants of stars, long extinguished. Light is never lost. It only changes direction, passing from form to form like a message whispered across time. The energy of light fuels everything that moves and lives. And even when it fades beyond sight, its warmth lingers, dispersed but unforgotten. Somewhere, every photon still travels, red-shifted by distance, softened by space, its echo stretching toward infinity. The riddle of where light goes has only one answer: nowhere. It stays, transformed, forever part of the quiet circulation of energy that keeps the universe breathing. Science does not exist to erase mystery, but to live beside it. Every answer leads to new questions, and every discovery opens 1,000 unknowns. This is not weakness, it is strength. The willingness to say, "We don't know yet," is the heartbeat of progress. Mystery is the fuel that drives inquiry forward, turning curiosity into exploration. When we admit what we don't understand, we make space for wonder, creativity, and humility. Every measurement has its boundary. a place beyond which our instruments, and even our minds, cannot reach. Quantum scales are too small. Cosmic distance is too vast. Between those limits, uncertainty rules. No telescope can see before time began. No microscope can capture the moment. Thought becomes awareness. Yet within those limits lies meaning. They remind us that knowing everything might end wonder, that boundaries give shape to exploration. Science maps what can be measured, but the unmeasurable defines its edges. Even mathematics has infinities it cannot solve, paradoxes that guard the borders of comprehension. To reach those boundaries is not defeat but reverence, a moment to stand still before the immensity that remains unseen. The horizon of knowledge is not a wall, it is a window. Through it, we glimpse not answers, but possibility, the eternal invitation to keep reaching into the unknown. Truth may depend on the observer. In relativity, time and motion change depending on where you stand. In quantum physics, particles shift behavior under observation. Even perception bends reality color. Sound and meaning arise not only from the world but from the mind interpreting it. Perhaps there is no single, objective truth, only the convergence of perspectives. Each observer contributes a facet of understanding, like mirrors reflecting the same light from different angles. This does not weaken truth, it makes it whole. The universe may not separate itself from those who study it. Observation is participation, reality, and awareness entwined. What we call truth might simply be relationship, the meeting of being and knowing. In this way, every consciousness becomes part of creation's unfolding experiment, witnessing and shaping in the same breath. The observer and the observed are one dance, forever entwined, forever revealing each other. Uncertainty is not ignorance. It is the foundation of discovery. Heisenberg showed that we can never know both a particle's position and momentum with absolute precision. The more we measure one, the more the other blurs. This uncertainty is not flaw, but design, the universe's built-in invitation to explore endlessly, without limits. Knowledge would end. With uncertainty, curiosity thrives. It ensures that science remains alive, not static. In this shifting space between known and unknown, imagination finds room to create. It is the reminder that existence is larger than comprehension, that wonder itself is a form of understanding. The more we seek to explain, the more intricate the design becomes, the more astonishing its patterns. To call something mysterious is not to give up on knowing it, but to recognize its vastness. Beauty lies in that balance between clarity and cloud, discovery and dream. When we reach the edges of reason, we enter the realm of reverence, where science and poetry meet. Mystery gives meaning to knowledge. It turns data into awe. It reminds us that we are participants, not masters, in a cosmos far older and wiser than we can imagine. To love mystery is to love existence itself, not for what it reveals, but for what it keeps hidden just long enough to make us wonder again. The spiral is one of nature's oldest signatures. You see it in seashells, hurricanes, galaxies, and even in the swirl of water down a drain. Each curve follows the same mathematical rhythm, expanding by a constant ratio known as the golden mean, its growth expressed as motion efficient, infinite, and harmonious. In seashells, it allows creatures to grow without changing shape. In hurricanes, it channels energy through balance and motion. The same spiral spins in galaxies, where stars orbit unseen centers of gravity. It connects the microscopic with the cosmic, the personal with the universal. Every spiral is a frozen moment in time, geometry captured mid-breath. When you look at one, you are seeing the universe, remembering how it expands, the same motion repeated endlessly. From tide pools to starlight, a single, unbroken rhythm of growth, turning through the body of creation. The double helix of DNA mirrors the structure of the cosmos, two spiraling strands holding the code of life, turning endlessly around an invisible axis. Galaxies, too, spiral through space with arms of stars winding around a central core. The pattern repeats across unimaginable scales, molecules and nebulae, atoms and orbits, all following the same elegant geometry. It is as though the universe uses one blueprint for both body and sky. Patterns in life are not random, but mathematical poetry. From the stripes on zebras to the arrangement of petals in a flower, equations describe how living systems grow and adapt. Reaction diffusion, Fibonacci sequences, and fractal geometry all guide nature's artistry. Even chaos finds symmetry through mathematics, creating forms both wild and predictable. Living patterns arise from feedback cells responding to signals, chemicals spreading through motion, yet these formulas do not constrain beauty, they create it. The mathematics of life is not rigid, but expressive, allowing infinite variation within simple rules. It's why no two snowflakes are alike, though all obey the same physics. Life writes its story with numbers that dance instead of march, turning algebra into art. The strange mathematics behind every leaf, wave, and heartbeat is proof that creation is both precise and imaginative order wearing the disguise of wonder. Symmetry comforts the human mind because it speaks a language the brain already knows. Our perception seeks balance in faces, music, architecture, finding peace in mirrored forms. Perhaps this instinct comes from the structure of nature itself, where symmetry signifies stability, harmony, and survival. A symmetrical body often signals health, a symmetrical pattern, safety. But beyond biology, symmetry resonates with something deeper, recognition. It reflects the mind's own desire for coherence in a chaotic world. Even art that breaks symmetry only does so to highlight its power. The brain finds rest in balance because balance is how the universe builds itself, from atoms arranged in lattices to galaxies spinning in even arms. To see symmetry is to see reflection, the outer world aligning with inner understanding, a quiet reminder that order, even fleeting, feels like home. Perfection is lifeless, but imperfection breathes. True beauty lies between order and flaw, where symmetry bends just enough to feel alive. A leaf with a tear, a face with asymmetry, a melody that drifts. These small deviations awaken emotion. Nature knows this balance intimately. Crystals grow with subtle irregularities. Waves crash unevenly. Galaxies warp under gravity's pull. Without imperfection, everything would be sterile, motionless. Together, they form the rhythm of creation, the fragile, exquisite balance that makes the world worth seeing. If no one observes reality, does it still exist? Physics and philosophy blur at that question's edge. Quantum theory suggests particles remain in uncertain states until measured, implying that observation brings them into form. Yet who Or what does the observing? The universe might observe itself through every interaction, photons meeting electrons, waves meeting walls. In that sense, consciousness is not separate from reality, but part of its unfolding. The cosmos may require witnesses, not necessarily human, to complete its equations, or perhaps it exists fully independent of perception, and we merely tune into fragments of a far greater whole. Either way, the question humbles us. The world is either born from observation or indifferent to it, but we can never step outside it to know for sure. Reality might not wait for eyes to see it. It may be the act of seeing itself. Perception doesn't just reflect reality, it builds it. What we see is filtered through senses, shaped by expectation, memory, and attention. Two people can look at the same scene and witness entirely different worlds. The brain stitches fragments of light, sound, and motion into a coherent story, one customized for survival rather than truth. Even colors are inventions of perception. The universe itself has no hue, only wavelengths of energy waiting to be interpreted. Reality, then, is part physics, part mind and agreement between the external and the internal. We do not live in the world so much as we participate in its creation. Every glance, every thought, every interpretation subtly paints reality's canvas. What we call the world might simply be consciousness rendered as experience, the mind transforming infinite data into meaning, illusion, and truth, dancing so closely they become indistinguishable. The mind is less a recorder than a storyteller, rewriting reality each time it's recalled. In that way, both dreams and memories are true, not in fact, but in feeling. They hold emotional reality, which can be stronger than physical evidence. Perhaps the brain dreams to remind itself that experience is never static, that even waking life is interpretation. Dreams are the mind rehearsing existence, and memory is the dream that learned how to stay. If infinite possibilities exist, then maybe so do infinite versions of you, each living out a slightly different story in another universe. The multiverse idea suggests that every quantum event splits reality into countless outcomes, each as real as the next. In one world, you turned left instead of right. In another, a star never formed, or life never began. These parallel lives might unfold unseen, forever inaccessible, yet mathematically possible. The thought is dizzying, but also comforting. It means no choice is wasted, no path truly lost. Every version of existence continues somewhere, completing the universe's tapestry of outcomes. If true, then reality isn't a single line, but an infinite web of potential, all happening at once. The self you are is one thread among many distinct yet connected, each possibility echoing softly through the fabric of being. Imagination might not be separate from physics, but a natural extension of it. Every thought is energy, every image a pattern of electrical activity. The mind creates entire worlds within seconds, landscapes, emotions, histories using the same physical laws that govern the universe itself. Perhaps imagination is not escape, but exploration. Consciousness sampling alternate realities. Some physicists suggest that possibilities imagined by the brain may resonate within quantum probability fields, overlapping faintly with other worlds, even if metaphorically. Imagination expands the boundaries of what can exist. Every invention, discovery, and dream began as something unseen, a private universe that later took physical form. In this way, imagination is both cause and continuation, bridging mind and matter. When you imagine, you participate in creation itself, shaping reality's potential with thought. The universe doesn't just allow imagination, it requires it to keep evolving its own infinite story. Yet perhaps purpose isn't something to be found but created, rewritten every moment through action and attention. The universe offers no manual, but it offers raw material experience. Meaning arises not from design, but from awareness noticing itself alive. To need purpose is to participate in creation, turning existence into story, and story into a quiet form of infinity. Curiosity may be more than a human trait. It might be a law of nature, from atoms that bond to form complexity, to cells that explore, to minds that seek understanding. Everything in existence seems drawn toward discovery. Curiosity is entropy's mirror, a counterforce that organizes instead of dissolves. Life, in all its forms, leans forward into the unknown. Even stars experiment, fusing elements into heavier ones, creating the chemistry that makes thought possible. Curiosity is the impulse behind every form of evolution. The reason matter doesn't stay still. In humans, it takes the shape of questions. In nature, it becomes motion and transformation. The universe learns about itself through its creations, each one a small act of inquiry. Curiosity may be the most natural instinct of all the universe, reaching out to touch itself through awareness, forever asking what more it could become. Meaning can rise from randomness the way music emerges from noise. At first glance, existence looks chaotic, particles colliding, stars exploding, lives beginning and ending without reason. Yet within that chaos, patterns emerge, order forming spontaneously from chance. Evolution, for instance, builds complexity not through design but through error. The universe doesn't plan beauty, but beauty still happens, meaning then may not be imposed from above, but born from within, a self-organizing harmony arising from motion and interaction. Even human understanding follows this pattern, from confusion to clarity, from scattered data to insight. What feels random might only be order too complex for us to see. Meaning is not something hidden behind the world. It is the pattern the world creates as it moves. Every coincidence, every choice, every moment of awareness is chaos, finding rhythm, and rhythm learning to call itself alive. If the universe is conscious, then every atom, star, and mind is part of a single awareness, unfolding. This idea blurs science and spirituality, suggesting that existence itself is self-aware, evolving toward greater understanding through every observer, whether metaphor or truth. The possibility reframes everything. The cosmos is not indifferent, but alive. Every act of perception becomes a conversation between the universe and itself, a single consciousness dreaming endlessly through infinite forms of light. Wonder might be the highest form of understanding, not analysis, but awe. When we encounter something too vast to explain, our minds fall silent, and in that silence, comprehension deepens. Wonder is awareness without boundaries. The moment thought becomes reverence. It bridges emotion and intellect, turning knowledge into connection. Science begins with wonder and ends in it again, curiosity expanding into insight, then dissolving back into humility. To wonder is to admit the beauty of not knowing, to recognize that mystery and meaning are not opposites, but companions. The universe doesn't ask to be solved, it asks to be felt. In wonder, we align with that truth, the cosmos, looking through our eyes, astonished at its own reflection. To live in wonder is to live awake, perceiving not answers, but the miracle that there are questions at all. Perhaps the universe never began, perhaps it simply is. The Big Bang might not have been a birth, but a transformation, one phase of an eternal cycle of expansion and renewal. Some theories suggest universes arise, collapse, and begin again endlessly, like breaths in an infinite lung. Others imagine time itself looping without start or end, every moment eternally present. Even the idea of beginning may be a limit of human language. In timelessness, cause and effect dissolve. The cosmos might not have a first moment any more than a circle has a first point. Existence could be its own explanation, a self-sustaining reality, needing no origin beyond being. To think of the universe as eternal is to release the need for boundaries. It has always been, and it always will be, a mystery without edges. Infinite presence, dreaming itself into form again and again. Some spiritual traditions call this the infinite mirror reality, aware of its own awareness. Science can trace perception through neurons, but not the essence of the witness behind them. Maybe the universe observes itself through every living mind, a single awareness divided into infinite perspectives. The question of what watches never ends, because the moment we look for the observer, we become it again. Seeing itself is how existence remembers that it exists. Between atoms, between stars, between thoughts, there is silence. Yet this silence is not empty. It is the medium through which everything moves. Space is not nothingness, but potential, the stillness that allows vibration, the pause that makes music. Even in the gaps between neural sparks, between heartbeats, between breaths, that same quiet waits. It connects all scales of being, the micro and the cosmic alike. In silence, everything touches, distance becomes illusion. The spaces between are what make form possible without them. The universe would be a solid mass with no motion, no sound, no life. To listen to silence is to hear the foundation of existence, the hum beneath reality's song. Between every word, between every star, lies the same still ocean of possibility, patient and eternal, carrying all creation like breath across the unending calm of forever. Mystery feels familiar because we were born from it. Long before names or understanding, we existed in unknowing cells dividing, stars forming, oceans stirring. To encounter mystery is to return home to that original silence, the state before thought. Curiosity is not a reaching outward, but a remembering inward, a recognition that we and the unknown share the same source. That's why wonder feels both thrilling and peaceful. It reconnects us with what we already are. The unknown doesn't threaten us, it completes us. In a way, mystery is our oldest companion, traveling beside us since the dawn of awareness. To live without it would be to live without depth. Familiarity in mystery is the soul's quiet nostalgia, the recognition that we have never been separate from the vastness, only briefly distracted from its gentle, endless invitation to remember where we began. Perhaps we were never meant to solve the mystery, only to listen to it. The beauty of existence lies in its openness, its refusal to end in conclusion. Maybe the purpose of awareness is not understanding, but reverence to witness, to marvel, to participate in wonder. The universe doesn't hide its secrets. It is the secret infinite, self-revealing, and always speaking softly to those patient enough to hear. The night has carried you through questions that have no edges, through atoms and galaxies, through silence and light, through thoughts that turn softly back on themselves. Somewhere along the way, you might have realized that the mystery was never outside you at all. It was within, breathing through your curiosity, pulsing quietly beneath your awareness, waiting to be remembered rather than solved. Science, at its heart, is not about answers. It's about the beauty of not knowing, the grace of standing before the infinite and letting it be vast. Every equation, every discovery, every wonder whispered through the dark is just the universe talking to itself. Through you, you are part of the experiment, part of the light, part of the silence that gives the cosmos meaning. Let the questions settle now. Let them drift like stars across a slow sky. There's no need to hold them or resolve them. They'll keep glowing without you, patiently, just as they always have. The mystery doesn't end when you sleep. It simply becomes dream. If you're still awake, tell me where you're listening from tonight, or what time the stars rise where you are. It helps others find this quiet space among the endless questions. Now breathe with the universe in rhythm, in peace, in wonder. Let your thoughts dissolve into stillness, as though the night itself were thinking through you. The answers can wait until morning. For now, rest inside the mystery. Good night.